There's certain so we want strong governance. It's just like we have a lot of incompetent, sort of like unnecessary governance. And so I think the idea was just like, okay, how can you, just generally, sort of have some like guidelines and principles that you sort of like,
And what were your proposed
about.
guidelines and principles? And in that research or now, what do you think is important in governing AI?
Well, um, well, ideally, it would be great if it was like the internet. I mean, the internet wasn't built by a single company. Um, like
Correct.
that's why it became so huge, and surely it's lost its decentralized character a little bit, but it's still like pretty decentralized compared to other things. Um, and so I think like with AI would be the same. I think it's like how can people use it as a tool, and they know they have access to it, and it can't be like revoked by like another company. And then with something like this is potentially, I mean, there's other, there's AI people, experts, and people who know more than me, but I think like, this becomes very powerful stuff. So how can we? It's a question of trust. We need to like, how can we trust like a single company, or a single set of people, as we see now with so-called open AI. It's not open, so people lie, people don't, I mean, companies just like look at their own bottom line. They don't think about societal implications in the world at large. I mean, they say they do, and to some extent they do. It's not like companies are bad or corporations are bad, but they're just incentivized, to maximize profit
Yeah.
for shareholders. And with something like this, obviously, is very, very valuable, as we see with NVIDIA. I mean, very valuable company. Yeah.
What is value to you, Link? What is value?
What is value to me? In what way?
What do you consider as valuable for yourself?
For what?
Life, good life, creating good life for yourself, creating happiness, day to day. What do you value?
Mm, well, I think it's important to be alive, um, and to sort of have some purpose, some meaning in your life.
What's your
Be able to,
purpose?
like Elon always says, be useful. I think that's good.
Be useful,
How can
yes.
you create value? How you can create value for other people? But yeah, how can you find your talent and exercise your talent?
Yeah,
I think it's a very personal question.
it
But yeah,
is.
being alive, being like, living the dream, not necessarily and like living all your wishes and everything's like a dream, but living like realizing, yeah, not being like, I guess it has to do with freedom. America's supposed to be about freedom, so it's like, how can you exercise your freedom and then pursue, something that, for like, is sort of in alignment with your heart and also adds value to the world.
Yeah. Do you
But I
think
think it's like, yeah, change yourself first. I guess, yeah, I'm just talking now, but you know.
no, but you're right. Change yourself first. That's true. We'll look again. From what I'm seeing, America, right, being that freedom-loving space. Do you feel free in America? And if so, then where the freedom really comes from? How can individual be free? Because I'm gonna try to like answer that direction. What I'm seeing is that individualism is very high in America compared to in Europe or in Russia, where I'm coming from, where the collectivism is still more important than individual happiness of one. Do you think that feeling of individual, that value in individualism, had brought America to the um, position that is ahead of the world, or it kind of stopped it from developing into something more, I guess, advanced?
Um, well, I think generally the Western world is very individualistic compared to Asian world,
Well, that is,
and
yeah.
it has advantages and disadvantages. I guess in terms of freedom, America has some freedom. In some ways, it's the illusion of freedom. There's different types of freedom. There's freedom, economic freedom. I mean, America used to be the place where people go when you were, chased for your religious beliefs or something else. And it was kind of like a place away from the world. But now, yeah, we need to have a revolution in America, so it can be that place again, because the reality is like not that, to some extent.
Yes, and
And,
with the
yeah,
technologies coming from America specifically, those that we are using daily, including the internet technologies, including the hardware, it's coming from a place of more of a surveillance and almost like reducing the freedom. For example, this channel that I'm posting this on is shadow banned already, and it's very difficult to build an
like
audience on a shadow.
your channel is shadow ban on YouTube.
Already, yes,
How do you
yes.
know that?
Well, I don't get any views at all. Only
Yeah.
by sending the direct link to the videos, I get a substantial amount of views, and generally, it's not like this content is being recommended. Let's say, by this
Right.
engine. So then the question is
Well,
that
part of it is also social media and this constant battle for attention, and
right.
like a lot of people put a lot of resources in like creating high quality content, and then it's difficult to compete with that.
Yes, high quality content versus the content that is actually needed to come out to better coordinate individuals is something that I'm focusing on, is the coordination aspect and transparent communications. Um, and that's the quality that I'm, let's say, supporting. Well, let's dive into the vision of technology that you have. Okay, AI. Okay, Dream Network. Let's see.
Dream network, yeah.
What is it that you are envisioning the past 7 years? How is that connected with a decentralized world? Maybe with your background in the decentralized world and the Web3 world, and how you're envisioning now with the AI and Web3, with the current technologies. How do you envision your network to be different?
Um, Different from what exactly?
Ethereum's of the world, let's say.
Well, I'm not really building a blockchain. So what Ethereum is doing is building, supposedly like the world computer. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing something very different. I suppose like generally it's a different type of frontier, um, you know, which is a frontier of the mind, which is like has to do with exploring like